If you're looking around your home or your bank account today and you're feeling embarrassed, behind, or like you should be further along, this message is for you. And also, if you have secretly wondered whether this hard season you're in means that God is for some reason disappointed in you, let me share some life-changing truths with you today. First of all, please hear me. You are not failing. Today we're going to talk about the art of frugal homemaking as a mama. This video is kind of part 2 to the Art of Godly Homemaking, which is my most watched video from about 3 years ago on this channel. But in this video, I want to reframe it for specifically mamas. I have encouragement for you in this video and 6 tips. The last one is the best, so stick around. Today I am cleaning my kitchen, and as you can see, it's a very beautiful kitchen, but I did not always have such a lovely kitchen. In fact, appearances can be quite misleading. You see, this kitchen is beautiful. It is finished. The rest of my house is not finished, and I don't know when it will be. And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me a bit, not anymore, because I know what I'm going to be sharing with you today in this video. So today I am just cleaning about my kitchen. Nothing fancy, just wiping counters, resetting the space, throwing together a simple from scratch meal, which, by the way, if you want the recipe that you see me making in this video, it will be on the blog. While I work, I want to share some things about this topic that are very close to my heart, something that I wish I had understood years ago. It would have saved me so many tears. Friend, frugality is not a failure. Simplicity is not lack, and your circumstances do not measure your worth in God's eyes. Please hear me. There was a season when everything felt heavy in my life, and it was a long season, over 12 years, where I was having children. I often had a newborn in my arms and toddlers at my feet. And I was homeschooling older kids, cooking from scratch every day. And those were the highlight. Those were the special highlights of the day. Those were the days that I always want to cherish and remember. But in the midst of all of that, I was also trying to heal from CPTSD. I have ADHD, and we lived in very small, very poverty-stricken homes. We had to stretch every dollar. We were living only on my husband's income, and he was working 2 and sometimes 3 jobs. Some months felt like 5 loaves and 2 fish multiplied only by the grace of God. And I remember feeling so embarrassed about the simplicity of our life because we didn't live in an area, we didn't really know anybody that lived like us. I was one of the only homemaker mamas that I knew for so many years in my area. And I consistently battled with feeling less than compared to the other women around who seemed to have it all together. And through it all, there was a verse that whenever I would remember it, it would bring me comfort. And it's Proverbs 15:16. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. There's a lot of truth to that. It took me years to realize my worth was never tied to my pantry, my decor, my house, my budget, or my circumstances. And friend, neither is yours. You see, one of the lies I believed was that our hard living circumstances meant that God was withholding. He was not blessing us because these are actually things that had been said to us. And all I can say about that is, friend, choose your religious circles carefully. There is a huge movement of young women, young mamas who are being drawn into some very cult mindsets because we want to be right. We want to be closest to truth as we possibly can. We definitely see things going on in the world that we don't like, but it's really important to maintain a balanced perspective. You see, we didn't know how to do that because we hadn't been raised with a balanced religious perspective. We had been part of religious circles and partook of religious circles that a lot of spiritual abuse ran rampant in. And those rarely end well. One of the lies that many homemakers quietly carry is this: our life is hard, that must mean God is disappointed with us. But scripture tells a completely different story. Matthew 5:3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. James 2:5, the poor are rich in faith. Psalms 113:7, he raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. Psalms 34:19, a righteous man may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Your circumstances do not reflect God's affection. I know sometimes it's hard to believe differently, and it's hard not to think it does. But your value is rooted in Christ alone. in his sacrifice, his love, his presence, and his promise. You're not loved less because you're pinching pennies. You're not less blessed because you have to shop secondhand. You're not failing because you're choosing simple. And no, it doesn't mean that you chose poorly in life or you had bad life choices. I mean, sometimes poverty can mean that, but in this day and age, for a lot of people, it is 100% not a reflection of people's life choices. Sometimes it has to do with what hands that we have been dealt. Frugality can be a holy place to be, friend. Frugal homemaking is simply this: stewarding what God has placed in your hands with dignity, wisdom, and peace. I want to take a moment to talk about something really important. As frugal homemakers, we can sometimes make the crucial mistake of skimping when it comes to our health. I speak from experience. As a woman who has had 6 children and 7 pregnancy losses, one of the hardest lessons that I think I've learned is that it's critical that even if we're low income or frugal, we need to support our bodies, or we may end up paying hard and painful prices. Being a woman can be very hard because throughout a woman's life, we end up on so many hormone roller coasters, especially through the beautiful but depleting childbearing years, and then again in the rough perimenopausal years. As women, our bodies are constantly working hard at cellular levels to adapt to shifting hormones, and without the right support, it's easy to feel drained, foggy, off balance, and worse. In my life, I've learned that cells need targeted support to maintain energy, resilience, nutrition, and overall balance. Without that support, in my experience, there's a very noticeable difference and a lessened quality of life. One of the ways that I'm supporting my body lately is with quality supplements and herbs, which brings me to today's sponsor, Needed. Needed is an amazing company dedicated to women's health. They offer unique herbal and vitamin supplements designed to support women through every season, from pregnancy and postpartum all the way through perimenopause and beyond. To support my body, I've been taking a couple of products by Needed. The first one is Needed's cellular aging support. So this lovely product is helping me. It's supporting energy, it supports mitochondrial and ovarian health, healthy cellular aging, and a balanced inflammatory response. It's vegan and third-party tested, so I know exactly what I'm putting into my body. I'm also taking their stress support, which includes clinically studied sensorial ashwagandha, saffron, holy basil, rhodiola, schizandra, and shatavari. It helps your body to respond to stress. It supports mood, sleep, and resilience, all without making you drowsy, and it's breastfeeding safe. Needed is helping me through perimenopause, but Needed goes beyond that for women. Pregnancy and postpartum are some of the most nutritionally demanding seasons of a woman's life, and a mom's nutrient status affects not only her health now, but her baby's health for years to come. Needed does not just provide basic vitamins, they're carefully formulated supplements to support women through these major life transitions. Something I really appreciate about Needed is their brand promise. Every product delivers the nutrients that your body really needs, informs your body can absorb. Reviewed by perinatal experts, rigorously third-party tested, and built on solid science and clinical insights. Needed is also trusted by more than 10,000 women's health experts, from nutritionists and midwives to functional medicine doctors and OBGYNs. These supplements, they are designed with real women in mind. Right now, Needed is offering an extra 20% off your first order, including one-time purchases or already discounted subscriptions and plans. So head to the link in my description box or use my code MountainMama at checkout. So here are some tips, practical tips that helped me as I was raising kids, cooking from scratch, homesteading. At times, we actually got to the point where we couldn't afford the homestead, but we do have one again now. The Lord brought us another one, and I'm going to show you how to survive some very lean seasons without losing joy and drowning in the overwhelm. The first tip that I want to give you is that make sure you don't have limiting beliefs that are stopping you from growing. So what I mean by this is when I first got married, my husband and I had both been raised in a very traditional type mindset where it was the man's job to work and provide income and the woman's job to stay home and be a keeper of the home and raise the children. And it does talk about this in scripture, but a lot of traditional movements and a lot of Christian cultural movements that used to be very popular completely ignored the Proverbs 31 woman. The Proverbs 31 woman, as it says, she was selling things that she made with her hands and obviously made quite a good living because she was able to purchase a field. And it doesn't even say that she went and asked her husband. I mean, it just says she went and purchased a field and she had enough to invest. In the Bible, we have a Bible verse. And unfortunately, because of the way that it is written, a lot of people don't realize that it is not just speaking to men. So many people, even preachers, think that this verse is only to men. And I'm going to read it to you the way that a lot of Bible versions say it. It's 1 Timothy 5:8. But if anyone provide not for his own, and especially for those of his house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. But if you look up that in the Greek, the original language that it was written in, which you can do online, I will drop the link for you below where you can do that. It actually means anyone. This is not directly speaking to men only. It's speaking to anyone. Once I understood this concept and put it together with the Proverbs 31 woman, I realized that maybe there was more I could do about our situation. Maybe sitting there like a waiting duck for, like us to win the lottery, which we didn't play the lottery. Maybe there was something more that I could do to actually improve things. So I started praying about it. And that is when the Lord started answering my prayer and giving me some really phenomenal ideas of how to better manage my time. So I want to tell you really quickly, Time Redeemed. It is my free masterclass, and it's where I share the exact method that the Lord brought to me after praying, and he used this method to help me uncover hidden causes of overwhelm, heal some old beliefs, and finally create a home that no longer crushed me. It's how I learned how to manage homeschooling, homemaking, and even add the part-time job to bless our family in a season of dire need. So if you want to watch that free masterclass, I will link to it in the description box below. Now, I do want to add that as a Christian, as a Titus 2 homemaker, I do believe it's really important that mamas of especially small children are home with their children to train them, like the Bible says, and teach them good habits and love them. Even science is coming up with studies to back this. And I always believe that it's most ideal, whenever possible, to try to have a work from home job so a mama can be home with her kids so she can still teach and disciple them in the Lord. But moving on, we are going to talk about some additional tips that I have. Another one is to steward your season of life, not somebody else's. So as I've said before, you cannot be a good homemaker if your mind, body, and spirit or home are in chaos. And you, mama, matter too. Frugal homemaker constantly finding black mold that needed to be eradicated in her home, but we never had the money to go back in and repair the areas where we would gut. So for years I was looking at like open spaces in the wall where you could see what are those things called? I should know this. I grew up in a carpenter family and I used to do construction. Studs. The studs in the wall. You could see all the studs in the wall. There was big blank areas and the home was constantly in disrepair. In fact, I couldn't really wear dresses because everywhere I would go in the house, my dress would get snagged on a piece of raw wood or a nail or something. So steward your season, not someone else, means in a situation like that, as bad as you want to wear nice fancy dresses, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's going to be a lot more affordable for you to just wear what you can afford and what is practical for the situation. Or here's what stewarding your season, not someone else's, could look like. Maybe it's not the time for you to be taking your children to all kinds of lessons all over the county that take up a lot of money and gas driving to and from. Maybe there's a better alternative. So look into that and keep an open mind. Okay, a third tip is definitely to master scratch cooking. You are going to be saving so much money. For example, we probably save a couple $100 a month just in bread alone by having me make it. So there are so many different things you can learn to make instead of buy, and it's worth it. There's beyond food as well. For example, it is way cheaper to make your own candles than buy them, and it's easy to make them. You can make them with beeswax. You can order it online, and you can make beeswax with some coconut oil and beeswax. It's that easy. And there are a lot of things you can learn to make from scratch. For example, look at this hot pad I just made. I made an extra large hot pad for casserole pans, which this size is genius, by the way. And it is way more durable than anything I have ever bought. I got the fabric at a fabric store that's going out of business in our town. And by the way, I'm going to be making my own hot pads from now on because I have gone through so many of them in the last year. They don't make them like they used to. So again, making things, because a lot of times you can make things better than you can buy them. Some more examples would be you can make cleaning supplies way cheaper than you can buy them and less toxic too, which is an extra bonus if you're a mama with little children. You can also make your own family portraits. You can learn to make and decorate your children's birthday cakes, which is something I used to delight in doing. Now I have older children that kind of took it over. And another thing you can do that's not necessarily making but doing is you can learn how to cut your kids' hair yourself. It's actually not that hard. I will link to a video. It's ways to save money with homesteading. Now, even if you're not homesteading, you'll still learn so many homesteading practices that you can do no matter where you live, whether it be on a little farm or in the middle of town. There are so many different homestead practices that you can use to save so much money. Okay, so I'm gonna link to that. I'll put it in the cards probably. So look at the top of this video for the cards. Tip number 4, before you buy something, think about it. So there was a rule I heard so many years ago, and it's kind of something I've always naturally done for the most part. If there's something you need or something you want, maybe wait as long as you can before buying it and pray about it in the meantime. I can't tell you the amount of times I have prayed for something and I found it secondhand, or I found it at a tremendous discount. My kitchen is one of the things that was bought at an insane discount, less than a quarter off. So pray for the desires of your heart and the things that you need, and give it just a little bit of time if you can, and see what the Lord does for you. Now, on this note, I'm going to share tip number 5, and it's to declutter before buying. So a lot of moms accidentally buy duplicates because clutter hides what they already own. So declutter toys, clothes, crafts, and kitchen items, and this will help you so much. It'll help you find lost things. It'll help keep you from overspending, and it'll help you see what you actually need. All right, I know this was supposed to be 5 tips, but I have a bonus tip, and it probably is the most important tip of all. Remember these times when we are all old and gray, when these days have passed. It's the best times. It's the love that was shared that's going to be what mattered the most. My biggest regret when I look back at our hardest times was simply that I didn't appreciate more. Now, I do feel like I appreciated my kids and my husband a lot. I mean, literally, they were my lifeline through the hard times. But I didn't appreciate being young. I didn't appreciate that we were all young together. There was so much love, but my biggest mistake is letting the hard times that the devil was sending our way steal too much joy and youth. So I guess my takeaway that I'm trying to express here is not to invalidate the hard, but just to express that when life is hard, you have to work even harder. You're gonna have to be savage about it. You have to be strong enough to savor the good and stop and see the good and savor it while it's happening as much as you possibly can, because in the end, that is what is going to matter the most. I hope this video has blessed you. If it has, would you consider giving it a thumbs up and possibly sharing it? Thank you for watching to the end. Don't forget to check out that free masterclass I was telling you about that I created.